Hey everyone, Mike here with another playthrough, and this time it's of one of my favorite games of recent years, Sentinels of the Multiverse. I was actually kind of surprised when I looked through Colin's channel and saw that he had never done a playthrough of this, so I thought I'd look backwards a bit and give it a try. Based on some recommendations from our Slack members, I'm going to be fighting Apostate today, the evil fallen angel, in the Temple of Zhulong, with a lot of assassins and a dragon. With 3 heroes, the Argent Adept is one of the best support classes in the game. He basically plays magical instruments to do mostly support effects. The Naturalist is one of my favorites. He can fulfill an attacking role, a defending role, and a support role based on which animal form he takes. And then this one's a little unique. If you don't know, there's a fan-made group of expansions called the Cauldron for Sentinels of the Multiverse, and they eventually became semi-official expansions in that Greater Than Games has given them their blessing, and in exchange the creators of the Cauldron actually pay some of the proceeds to Greater Than Games. So this is one of the Cauldron characters, Titan, basically a bit like Hellboy if you know those comics or movies. So we're going to be trying him out mixed in with the standard official Greater Than Games content. Apostate is a fairly easy villain, so I'm going to both play with his advanced mode, which lets him start with an extra relic. We'll see that in a moment. And I'm also going to be using another difficulty setting that's from the app of the game, which means that every time I play a demon card for him, he's going to play another villain card. So we're kind of going ultimate mode against Apostate to make him a bit more of a challenge. We'll see if I survive or not. So one of the beautiful things about Sentinels is that there's very little setup except for shuffling the decks. In this case, it does say that Apostate starts on his Infernal Emissary side. We're already there, and he has 66 life. We got to get him down to 0. And we put Condemnation, his sword, in play. There it is. And because we're playing Advanced Mode, we also put the Tome of the Unknowable in play. There it is. Condemnation has 11 life. The Tome has 3 life. Going right into the first round, Apostate does not have any beginning of villain turn effects, so we draw a villain card. In this case, it's a relic, Periapt of Woe. It has 4 life. It increases all damage dealt by Apostate by 1, and reduces damage dealt to itself by 2. Now we go right into end of villain turn effects from left to right. Apostate deals the hero target with the highest hit point, H-2. H in Sentinels is the number of heroes, in this case 3. So 3 minus 2 is 1 melee damage and 1 infernal damage. So he's going to hit the highest hit point hero twice. Then Condemnation is going to hit the highest hit point hero for 3 melee damage. But note that the Periapt of Woe is going to increase this because even the Condemnation is still Apostate attacking. So it's going to increase the damage by 1. So this is going to be 2 and 2 damage, followed by 4 damage. Looking at the heroes, this number here is their starting life. Titan has 32, so he is the highest. So he'll take Apostate's melee and infernal attack, bringing him down to 28. We now recalculate highest hit point for Condemnation's attack, and it becomes the Naturalist with 29. And he takes 3 plus 1 from the Periapt of Woe to be at 4 damage, have 25 life overall. And before we jump over to our first hero's turn, I want to note that my primary target for this turn is to destroy the Tome of the Unknowable. It only has 3 life and no inherent defenses, but every time a hero draws a card, it plays another villain card. Now I can choose not to draw cards at the end of a hero's turn, so I'm never really forced to have that effect happen, but it's going to totally cripple my game if I can't draw cards. So since it's so easy to destroy it quickly, I really want to get rid of that. And then theoretically the Periapt of Woe would be next with its only 4 life, but since it reduces damage by 2, it's pretty tough to kill quickly. Okay, we're going to our first hero turn, and that's going to be Titan. He's first in turn order. And for those who have not played Sentinels before, the rules are incredibly simple. You can play 1 card from your hand, you can use 1 power, your character always starts with 1, and then some cards you play might give you other ones. And finally, you draw a card at the end of your turn, and that's it. It's as quick as that, although clearly as you activate powers and things, that might become more complicated. So looking at Titan's cards, his basic ability, Dormant Fury, deals 1 target 2 infernal damage. That's enough to almost destroy the Tome of the Unknowable, but I'd rather destroy it completely if I can. Other cards we have, Molten Veins, Titan regains 2 hit points. You may search your deck and trash for a copy of the card Titan form and put it into your hand. If you search your deck, shuffle it, and you may play a card. Titan form is this single copy card in Titan's deck that basically boosts a lot of his powers and makes him a way tougher in the game, so that's not a bad one to get because I could immediately play it. Vulcan's Judgment. Oh, by the way, cards are either one-shots, ongoing, or equipment. Both ongoing equipment stay in play until something gets rid of them. One-shots are like single-use events. So, Vulcan's Judgment. When this card is destroyed, Titan deals 1 villain target 5 infernal damage. Wow, that would almost destroy the Periapt all by itself. If Titan form is in play, Titan also deals that target 2 fire damage. Wow. And as a power, I can destroy it. So basically, this just sits around until I blow it up myself. The Chaplain is his big gun. Power, Titan deals 1 target 3 projectile damage, a slight increase on his Dormant Fury power. And if Titan form is in play, I can destroy 1 ongoing card. That's great, because if Apostate gets out one of his nasty ongoing cards, I have the power to destroy it any time. Then finally, MS.5 Demolition Charge. Destroy all environment cards. For each environment card destroyed this way, Titan deals himself 1 fire damage. We don't have any environment cards yet, but that's a great card for some clearing of tough environment cards later if we need it. So for this turn, I'm going to play it simple. I'm just going to bring up the Chaplain, and for my power, I'm going to go in and use it to deal 3 projectile damage. I'm going to shoot at the Tome of the Unknowable and just destroy it straight out. It only has 3 life. I will note that the tome says, when this card is destroyed, search the villain trash for the card Condemnation and put it into play. But Condemnation is a sword that Apostate started with anyway, so that's not going to hurt me at all with that effect. Okay, then we finish Titan's turn by drawing another Vulcan's Judgment. Tons of damage potential there, especially if I get Titan form out. So maybe we'll play Molten Veins next turn. Okay, our next character is Argent Adept. He's definitely the most complicated of the group. His basic MO is that he plays ongoing song cards that are either melodies, rhythm, or harmony cards, and then he additionally gets out instruments that let him activate both performance and accompany powers on those cards. With his basic power, Vocalize, he can just do a perform text, but after he gets some instruments out, which unfortunately I don't have any of, he can then potentially do more. So the cards I have, Sadistic Dissonant. It's a harmony. Perform, I can destroy an instrument, so I have to actually blow up an instrument that I already have in play. If I do, destroy any 1 card in play other than a character card. Now that's pretty amazing. I could literally blow up his Condemnation sword in just a moment with that card. Do basically 11 damage in 1 shot, which I probably want to do if I can get an instrument pretty quickly. And then it's a company power. Discard 2 cards to draw 3 cards. Not that great. Just kind of cycles through your deck. This one is Inventive Preparation. Each player may look at the top card of their hero deck, then replace it or discard it to kind of make sure we're getting our best cards. Or the Accompany effect, 1 player other than you may play 1 card now. That's ridiculous if I can get an instrument that lets me do a rhythm accompany power. Arcane Cadence is great. I get to look at the top 5 cards of my deck. 1 of them goes in my hand, 1 of them goes on top of my deck to be drawn at the end of the turn, 1 of them goes on the bottom of my deck, 1 in the trash, and 1 gets played immediately. So I can get some potentially great card out this turn. So I might want to play that one. Then finally, Scherzo, I think it's pronounced, of Frost and Flame. It only has perform text. Argent Adept deals 1 target, 1 cold damage, then deals 1 target, 1 fire damage. So out of these, I think I'm going to play Arcane Cadence and hopefully draw an instrument that will let me get this Accompany Rhythm power starting to activate, and also an instrument that I could destroy with Sadistic Dissonant to blow up Condemnation, maybe. So I play this, I draw the top 5 cards of my deck. Okay, I've got Counterpoint Bulwark, which basically lets me protect other heroes. I've got Rhapsody of Vigor, a healing power. I've got another Arcane Cadence, so I could just keep on doing this, basically. I've got Ju's Bell, which lets me do the perform text of a rhythm card and the accompany text of a rhythm card or a harmony card. Ooh, rhythm card. That's kind of what I wanted. Yeah, that would let me do both powers on that. And then this one lets me just straight up look for an instrument, which could be very useful because, again, I'm going to want to blow up some instruments to use my little Sadistic Dissonance there. So of these, I think I'm going to... The one I put in play, if I put a song in play this turn, I can use his power to perform it immediately. So even though I want to play Zhu's Bell, I'm not sure if I want to play that first, because then I won't actually be able to do anything with my power this turn. So I think that I'm definitely going to put Zhu's Bell in my hand. Top of my deck. Let's see. I think I'm going to play Counterpoint Bulwark, because its a company power is to draw one card now. Although I guess I'm already going to have a really good rhythm power in this one, so I don't necessarily really need that one as well. Actually, so let's get the healing one in play, and I'll use that this turn. I'll put the instrument grabbing one on top to get me another instrument soon. Or, nah, this is better. I'd rather just be able to play another card immediately. And then I'll discard the Counterpoint Bulwark and put this on the bottom of my deck. Okay, and then as my power, I get to activate a Perform text, which is my Rhapsody. Up to 5 targets regain 1 hit point each. So I'm going to heal both Titan and Naturalist of 1 of the 4 points of damage they each took this past turn. Finally, I draw a card, and we already knew it was another Arcane Cadence, so we'll probably be playing that next turn. Well, maybe not. I think I want to get my Bell in play. Okay, finally we have the Naturalist. His power Transform lets him search his deck or trash for one of his 3 form cards. He can become a crocodile, or maybe it's an alligator, a rhinoceros, and a gazelle. So I'm definitely going to use that this turn. The question is, what card do I play? So I've got Natural Forms power. This is an ongoing card, so it stays around. And basically, depending on what form I'm in, I get to use a different ability. So I can let somebody draw 2 cards, I can heal 2 hit points, or I can deal 1 damage up to 2 different targets. That's a great flexible card to get into play, so I probably want to play that one. This one says whenever exactly 1 damage would be dealt to a Naturalist, prevent that damage. Right now I'm taking more than 1 damage, so that's not going to help me much yet. This one is Indomitable Force. Reduce damage dealt to the Naturalist by 1 at the start of your turn. Destroy this card. So that's great when you're in the Rhino form. You can basically take damage for all your friends. But since I'm not yet, I'm not sure that's useful to play already. And then the Predator's Eye, increase damage dealt to 1 target by 1 until the start of your turn. So that's great for having like all of your allies just wail on maybe Apostate, for example. It also lets me draw some cards or deal damage if I'm crocodile/alligator form. We'll figure out which one it is once I get the card. But for now, definitely going to play Natural Forms power, because once I get my form, that's pretty amazing. And with how things are right now, I definitely want to be the crocodile or alligator. Let's see which animal it actually is. Okay, it is the Deadly Crocodile. When it enters play, I destroy any other form, so I can't be a crocodile and a rhinoceros at the same time. All my damage is increased by 1, which is great. And as a power, I can deal 1 target 2 melee damage, which would become 3. So between that and the Natural Forms power to attack 2 different people, I have a lot of nice offensive capability already going on here. And the Naturalist's card is Bestial Shift. This is a fun one. I can do a power based on my current form, in this case do some damage, and then use a power, which could be attacking, which is probably what I'll do, but you could even like use his natural power to switch into another form, and then you get to activate that other form's power as well. So it's kind of a nice 1-2 punch in some cases when you use that card. Okay, and now at the end of the round, we go to the environmental turn. This one's kind of like the villain turn, very simple. You do before turn effects, you draw a single card, you do after turn effects. So what's the tempo got for me? An Apprentice Poisoner with 3 life. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals the 3 non-environment targets with the lowest hit points 1 toxic damage each. When this card is destroyed, it first deals each non-environment target 1 toxic damage. So the Poisoner can help me sometimes, but in this case she won't, because her 1 damage won't penetrate the 1 reduction of damage Condemnation has, or the 2 reduction of damage the Periapt has. So the only remaining lowest card is the Argent Adept, so he's just going to take 1 damage. Okay, we get to Apostate's turn, no before turn effects, so we're going to... Oh, here's a demon, which means with our ultra hard mode we're going to draw another card in a second. But there's a Relic Spirit. At the end of the villain turn, each relic regains 1 hit point. That's not going to affect us. And when this card is destroyed, move H-1 relic cards from the villain trash into play. So this is an interesting one because she keeps on healing relics, but I don't really want to kill her because otherwise she'll bring back the relics I've worked so hard to destroy. And just to mention about relics, if I kill Apostate while he has a relic, he doesn't actually die. He just destroys a relic and flips to his other side. So I have to destroy all his relics before I finish him off. Okay, with his power, we draw again. Another demon. And I think it's each time we draw a demon, so we're going to draw again. Okay, Fiendish Pugilist. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest hit point, H-1, so that'd be 2 melee damage. And Apostate gets -1 damage while he's around to kind of bodyguard for him. And we'll keep on going. Lord, another one. And okay, good. Oh wait, this is a terrible card though. Okay, reveal cards from the top of the villain deck until H-1 relics are revealed. Put them into play. Shuffle the other revealed cards back into the villain deck. So I'm going to get H-1, 2 relics from the top of the deck immediately. Okay, so this is fairly ridiculous. I'm already regretting playing on such a hard mode, but I've got the Gauntlet of Perdition. Whenever Apostate deals melee damage to a target, this card deals that target 1 infernal damage. And don't forget the Periapt of Woe is still increasing Apostate's damage, but not the Gauntlet's damage. And then here's the crazy one, the Runes of Malediction. Reduce damage dealt to all relic cards by 2, and when it's destroyed, move H demon cards from the villain trash into play. So I gotta try to destroy this, but I'm getting -2 damage to everything I do. If I kill any of the demons, it's just gonna bring them back to life. So, man, this is gonna be tough. Okay, so getting to end of turn effects, Apostate's going to deal 1 melee and 1 infernal, +1 from the Periapt, so that's 2 and 2. And then the Gauntlet, when he deals the 2 melee damage, will also deal 1 infernal damage. So Titan is highest again, so he's taking 5 damage overall. That's 2 and 2 from Apostate, and then 1 more from the Gauntlet. Condemnation makes Apostate deal another 3, +1 for 4 damage, and then +1 from the Gauntlet, so that's another 5 damage. And this time it'll be on our 26 life-having Naturalist. And then each of our Pugilists is going to do 2 damage to the highest hit point guy. So Titan and Argent Adept are tied, so let's give Argent Adept those 2. And then Titan can have the other 2, bringing him to 10 total. He's already just about a third dead, jeez. Alright, so no reason not to. We're going to play Molten Veins first, get a copy of Titan Form, and then we can play another card. So Titan Form's main power is defensive. Whenever Titan is dealt damage by another target, reduce damage dealt by 2 Titan by 1 until the start of your next turn. So basically each time he gets hit, he'll take less damage from the next hit, less damage from the next hit. So if he gets hit by a bunch of people, eventually he'll be taking 0 damage. Which with all the guys on the board might let him kind of help everybody else survive. Additionally, whenever I deal damage, I can destroy this to do 2 extra damage. So right now I can do 3 damage, and I want to try to destroy this Runes of Malediction card, but it's got 6 life, and reduces damage to it by 2. So that's a pretty tough thing to destroy. I could do Vulcan's Judgment, and that'd be 5 damage, -2 would be 3, that would defeat it by half. I could similarly play Titan Form, and then use the Chaplain to destroy Titan Form to do 3 + 2 damage for 5. I think Vulcan's Judgment is probably the best one to go for here. So I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to use the power to destroy it. When this card is destroyed, I deal 1 villain target, 5 infernal damage, so that's going to be reduced for the runes down to 3, but that'll still leave it half dead. Not great, but something. And we'll draw a Titan's card. Misbehavior. Reveal up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Put 1 of them into play or into your hand. Put the rest into your trash. And then Titan regains X hit points, where X is 3 minus the number of cards revealed this way. So a little bit of healing, a little bit of card draw. Let's immediately play something. I'm not quite sure what it'll be, though, so it's fairly random. But a decent card to draw there. Going over to the Argent Adept. I think I'm going to play the Bell and just heal this turn. And then next turn I can either use the Dissonant to destroy something straight up. Or I can get this really powerful Rhythm card into play and start using its power. So I'm going to use that. As a power, I'm going to activate the Perform text on the Rhapsody. That is healing 1 damage from each of my characters. It's not enough to make them feel fully safe, but hey, at least they're a little bit more alive. And then we'll draw a card. Oh, another instrument. Perform text of a Harmony card. Don't have any of those in play. And a Company text of a Rhythm card. Well, that's good, since this is a Rhythm card, so it gives me kind of another option. Alright, so for the Naturalist, I see a way to destroy the Runes of Malediction, and it feels like it might be a bit of a waste, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. So Predator's Eye lets me increase damage to a target by 1. So I can say Runes of Malediction are getting +1 damage until my next turn. And then it lets me draw up to 2 cards, and I deal 3 damage minus the number of cards I drew. So Basically, if I don't draw any cards or draw only one, I'm going to be doing, well, let's see, I need to do 5 damage to get over its armor, or 4 damage if I do the little bonus. See, actually, this will work out. If I don't draw any cards and I make it take +1 damage, 3 + 1 from the Crocodile's bonus of +1 damage to all attacks will let me do 4 damage to it, +1 from the Predator's Eye, -2 from its armor. So I'm going to do all of that, and that'll mean the Runes of Malediction take 3 more damage in the wash, and they are destroyed. And they would immediately play H demon cards from the trash, but there aren't any in there, so that's going to get rid of that terrible card. Now I can still play a power. I can either do 3 damage to one target, or 1 toxic damage plus the bonus of 1, so 2 damage to 2 different targets. So I'm going to do the second option and spread the damage a bit. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 on the Gauntlets, and then 2 on one of the Fiendish Pugilists, try to get rid of some of this extra damage I'm getting every turn. Then the Naturalist draws a new card. Environmental Allies. This is an interesting one. It means that environment targets, like the Poisoner, are harder to hurt, and if I switch to Gazelle form, I can make it so that they never hurt me, they only hurt the enemy. Or at least I don't take any damage from them. So we'll see if that's worth it, if any like really powerful environment cards come out. The Poisoner by herself is already helping me, so I don't really need it. But a pretty cool card there for the Naturalist. Okay, and before we have the Poisoner attack again, we're going to flip a new card. Oh, another one. Oh, this is so good for me. So the thing is, right now, all of the lowest targets, remember she does 1 damage to each of the 3 lowest targets, all of them are enemy cards, so she's going to help me out a ton this turn. If we look over, the 3 cards that are hurt the most are, have the least life, are the Gauntlets with 3, the Fiendish Pugilist with 4, and the Periapt of Woe with 4. Periapt has 2 armor, it's not going to take any damage, but both the Gauntlets and the Fiendish Pugilist are going to be hit by both Apprentice Poisoners. That's going to leave the Gauntlets just about done, and... Whoops, wrong token there. And the Fiendish Pugilist also just about destroyed. So we'll keep those Poisoners alive as long as we can. I got no problem with them at all. Alright, last turn with Apostate was probably about the worst turn we could have had. Let's try not to repeat it. Hopefully don't get a demon or like a relic drawing card. Gosh, darn it. Alright, we're doing 2 more relics into play. God help us. Okay, so we got another Gauntlet of Perdition, so it's kind of a 1-2 punch. And then, really terrible, the Orb of Delirium, which means it's going to take all damage I would do to other relics. So I can't even, destroy this 1 health Gauntlet until I can destroy this thing with 12 life. Good lord. So with everything put together, we're going to be doing similar damage to last turn, except now it's going to be 6 from the combination of his power, the Periapt, and both Gauntlets. And then another 6 from Condemnation, the Periapt and both Gauntlets, and then the Pugilist will hit me for 2 and 2 again. So let's look at all the damage. So we got 6, 6, then 2, and then 2 damage. 2 deal. Titan is down 9, so he's at 23. Argent's at 22. Naturalist is also at 22. So Titan's going to take that first 6. That puts him at, Lord, 15 overall? Yeah. That's not good. He's almost half dead. And then I can choose between Naturalist and Argent, who takes the next 6. I guess we'll put it on the Naturalist. So he's taking 13 damage. He's got 16 left. And then it leaves Argent Adept to take both of the Pugilist attacks. So that's 4 damage overall. So he's down to 18. He's looking a lot better than his friends. Alright, so for Titan, I could use Misbehavior and take a chance of drawing a card that might not be as useful, but then also heal a little bit. That's really kind of scary to do. I sort of just want to do Vulcan's Judgment and automatically do 5 damage. But, whatever. Let's see what we can find, because I haven't played this guy as much. I'm going to draw all 3 cards. One of them is going to go straight into play. The other 2 are going to go into the trash. I'm not going to heal anything. Let's see what fun tricks we get. Okay, we get another Molten Vein. That would heal me 2, get me a Titan form, which I already have, but I get to play a card at least, so I wouldn't, lose my action. And then 2 copies of Payback Time. Increased damage dealt by Titan by 1 to non-hero targets that have dealt him damage since the end of his last turn. So Apostate hit him, and the Gauntlet of Perdition hit him, but that's not really going to help me much at all. At the end of your turn, Titan regains 1 hit point. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of both of those. I'm going to play this. So I heal 2, and then I get to play another card. So in the end, we'll just play Vulcan's Judgment anyway. But I guess I did get rid of some cards that didn't look as powerful from the top of my deck, so not a total waste. And I'm going to attack for 5 against the Orb of Delirium. But this thing still has 7 more life. Lord help me. Okay, and then for Titan's card draw, Forbidden Archives. Each player may draw 2 cards now. For each other player that draws cards this way, Titan deals himself 2 psychic damage. I don't know if he can afford to take that, but at least he can draw 2 cards himself without suffering any effects. Okay, so Argent Adept has a bit of a choice. He could play Sadistic Dissonant, blow up his bell, and I guess taking out Condemnation would be the strongest play here, because that's going to stop the 4 melee damage plus 1 from each gauntlet every turn. His alternative play is to get Inventive Preparations in play and use the secondary power for another player to play a card to let the Naturalist do some intense damage with his powers and probably destroy the orb and then set up other things getting destroyed. I mean, that's better because I can use it turn after turn instead of actually blowing up my bell. So I am going to play that. And I'm going to use the bell's power so I can do the perform text of a rhythm card and the accompany text of a rhythm card. So I can actually do the same card for both. So each player may look at the top card of their hero deck, then replace it or discard it. So Argent Adept. Getting another instrument? No, I'd rather have better spells. So I'm going to discard that one. Sorry, not put it on the bottom. And leave me something better on the top of my deck. The Naturalist. Cornered Beast. If there are more non-hero targets than hero targets, and God there are, increase damage dealt by the Naturalist by 1. Now we'll leave that. I like that a lot. And finally, Titan. Another Molten Veins. No, I mean, I'd rather draw a useful card, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, then one player other than you may play 1 card now. I'm going to have the Naturalist play Bestial Shift. So I can deal 1 target 3 toxic damage. Don't forget, with the Crocodile's power, that's actually going to be 4 toxic damage. And then I can use a power. So the 4 damage will clearly go in the Orb of Delirium. And then he'll use his Natural Form's power to deal up to 2 targets 1 damage each. But again, it's 2 because of the Crocodile power. That'll bring Orb of Delirium up to 11. And then I can attack any other relic and it'll bounce to the Orb of Delirium. So I'll go ahead and say I attack the Gauntlets and this is destroyed. Geez, but it took almost my entire turn. Okay, and Argent Adept, after helping out Naturalist, he gets a Vernal Sonata. Each hero target regains 1 hit point. Each player may take 1 card other than this card from their trash and put it on top of their deck. I'm not sure if I have anything good enough to justify that, but maybe later if I survive. Alright, so unfortunately Naturalist doesn't have any good attack cards to do. So I'm going to play Resilient Hide whenever exactly 1 damage would be dealt to prevent that damage. That's not going to help me too much right now because everybody's doing more than 1 damage, but if I eventually turn into the Rhino, then it lets me heal every turn and might make me survive a bit longer if I am really desperate. Then I'm going to do the same power I did before. 2 targets, 2 toxic damage each. Actually, you know what? I'm going to instead do this one to do 1 target, 2 damage, plus 1 becomes 3 damage. I'll show you why when I look over at the villains. Now don't forget our 2 poisoners are going to hit the lowest health guys for 1 damage each. The 3 lowest. So they'll destroy the Fiendish Pugilist. They'll destroy the Gauntlets. If I do 3 damage to these Gauntlets, they will also finish that one off, doing the last 2 damage it needs. So these 3 things are going to be wiped out by my lucky friends from the Environment deck. And the Naturalist draws. Oh, that's right, Cornered Beast. I knew that was coming, but that's a great card. If I can get it out, it'll basically give me plus 1 damage for everything I do, including my multiple hit things. So would love to play that next turn. So far, the Environment deck's been super nice to me. I don't think that'll continue. Let's see. Resurrection Ritual. Whenever a non-character card villain target is destroyed, put it under this card. That's all 3 of the things I'm about to destroy. At the end of the Environment turn, if the true former Zhulong is in play, put the bottom card under this card into play. So if another guy comes out of here, he'll start bringing the villain cards back to life. When this card is destroyed, put all cards under this card in the villain trash. So, it's not a danger to me yet. And it actually will keep the cards that I'm going to destroy kind of out of play. So, you know, if I destroy something that lets some demons come back, it won't bring back the Pugilist because he'll be under here instead of in the discard pile. But for now, I don't have to worry about that too much. And the great thing is the Apprentice Poisoners are going to kill all 3 of our lowest hit point targets we saw. Now they're going under the Resurrection Ritual. I guess I decide the order they go in, so let's put the Pugilist on top so he's last to come back. Well, because of getting his worst cards, like those ones that bring in 2 relics are basically his worst cards, and also getting demons that keep on spawning extra guys because of the extra hard rules I'm playing on, I'm kind of just treading water here and losing health crazy rate. Oh, man. Okay. Apocalypse. At the start of the environment turn, destroy all cards in play other than this card, character cards, and relics. Then destroy this card. So that's the worst. I mean, like, if I don't stop that, I think I'll probably have to just say that I'm done. Because, so it wouldn't destroy Condemnation or Periaptive Woe. It would kill the Relic Spirit, which would bring back 2 relics that I already destroyed. Apocalypse still wouldn't touch them. But I would lose all the cards that I've played so far. So I need to look at my options and see if I have any way to destroy an ongoing card. If not, then I'm in a really bad way. But before we get there, let's do our damage. The darn Periapt is still in play, so he's going to do 2 and 2, but no bonus from Gauntlets. That's going to do 4, and then these guys are going to do 2. So we've got 19 life, 18 life, and 16 life. So the first 2 and 2 is definitely going to Titan. That's going to bring him down to 17, so he's officially over 50%. And the next 4 will go to the Argent Adept, who's now down to only 14 life. And then the Fiendish Pugilist will attack the Naturalist, leaving him with 15 damage and 14 life as well. Oh man, I was really worried about that Apocalypse card, but I shouldn't have been, because I forgot about this awesome gun that Titan has. So I got to play Titan form, which again is going to help me take less damage, which is not a bad thing. And then that lets me use the Chaplain's other power. If Titan form is in play, destroy 1 ongoing card. So bye-bye Apocalypse, you're not destroying all my stuff. And that's the end of Titan's turn there. He didn't get to do any damage. But he gets Immolate. Play this card next to a target. The first time that target deals damage each turn, it deals itself 1 fire damage. If that target leaves play, destroy this card. That's nice. Some damage over time. We'll try to get that into play. Alright, so for Argent Adept, I still got to figure out what I want him to do. I could play Sadistic Dissonant and blow up my Bell, which would take away my ability to use the really good Inventive Preparation card's power. But it would let me blow up Condemnation, which would take away 4 damage every turn that he's doing, which is huge. I mean, that would basically cut his damage in half. Unfortunately, none of the guys really have strong enough cards to justify the playing of another card. Like, the Naturalist only has 1 card that really helps us. Yeah, this is tough. But then again, I'd rather play this card up and destroy that one. Maybe I just do Arcane Cadence and see if I can get something else in play entirely. Like maybe like another really good Rhythm card or a Harmony card with a good power. Yeah, let's try that and try our luck. So again, I'm getting 5 cards, and I get to kind of determine where they each go. Okay, so that one just lets me get cards from the deck. Not too great. Ooh, destroy 1 ongoing or environment card. That's a fabulous card. Another cruddy one. Another Inventive Preparation. I'll need 2 of them. And then, this increases damage dealt by targets by 1. And it's a Rhythm card. Ooh, that's great. I'm definitely putting that into play. We're going to let the Naturalist just go crazy over here. The ongoing or environment card, that's great. I'm going to put that into my hand. I don't need another one of these, so that can go into the trash. One of these can go on top of my deck, one of them on the bottom of my deck. I don't really want them, but they need to go somewhere. Okay, now then, I get to do Syncopated Assault. Select up to 2 targets until the start of your next turn. Increase damage dealt by those targets by 1. One of them is going to be the Naturalist, but the other one is actually going to be the first Apprentice Poisoner, because it doesn't say a hero or a villain target, so I can make her do an extra damage, and since she's pretty much only helping me right now, it's going to be all good for me. And then I can additionally let a player other than you play 1 card now. And yeah, I think I'm going to have Titan play Immolate on Apostate. It's 1 damage a turn, but I haven't hurt the guy at all, so I do have to do some damage on him eventually. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure that's the best play. Let's put Immolate back and look at this Forbidden Archives. So it would let Titan draw 2 cards. He doesn't really have great cards to play right now. And then we could draw 2 cards but hurt him. And unfortunately, Titan form only helps him against damage from other people, not from himself. Well, yeah, let's play this and literally just have him draw 2 cards, because I have enough good stuff for the other guys. So Titan is going to get another Misbehavior and Unbreakable. Skip any effects which would act at the end of the villain turn. That's great. That means they wouldn't do any damage to me for a whole turn. You may not use powers, you may not draw a card. At the start of your turn, destroy this card. That is amazing. I love that. Really glad I got that. And another Misbehavior. Okay, and then Argent Adept will get, that's right, that Vernal Sonata. So I got 2 of those cruddy things. Okay, come over to the Naturalist. We're going to play Cornered Beast. So if there are more non-hero targets than hero targets, all my damage is +1. And then I'm also +1 damage from my friend, the Argent Adept over there. And I'm +1 damage from the Crocodile. So I have +3 damage this turn on anything I attack. That's pretty awesome. And the power on this is I can destroy a target with 3 or fewer hit points, which unfortunately even the Periapt has 4, so that's not going to do anything special there. So I can either do 4 damage with my bonuses to 2 different people, or I can just do 5 damage to a single person. Now, neither of those would destroy the Periapt, and the Poisoners won't be doing enough damage to get it either. So I think I'm going to split the damage. If I can get some damage on the Pugilist, the Poisoners will destroy him, and I can start hurting Condemnation as well. So Condemnation is -1 on all damage, so 3 of my 4 is going to get through, but that's more than 1/4 of its life gone. And the Pugilist, though, will take my full damage of 4. And the Naturalist draws Shifter's Strength. I can discard cards to draw an equal number of cards, and then play a card. That's great to get rid of some of these ones I'm not really using right now. Okay, now let's go over to our so far extremely friendly environment cards. Shinobi Assassin. When this card enters play, it deals the non-environment target with the lowest hit points 3 melee damage. Oh, man. He's going to actually get 1 point of damage through on the Periapt, so if I had bit him with my Crocodile, it would have finished it off. But that's okay. When this card would be destroyed, move it to the top of a hero deck instead. When this card would be drawn, discarded, revealed, or played, put it into play in the environment play area. So this guy just keeps on coming back and coming back and coming back. But since, again, like everybody else, he seems to be helping me destroy my enemies, I don't really mind too much. Okay, so I did boost the first one, if I'm being honest. So she's going to do 2 damage to the lowest 3 people, and then she's going to do 1 damage to the lowest 3. Okay, so the lowest 3 at first are that, and that. Yeah, because none of my guys are low enough to be destroyed by this. So 1 damage will get through Condemnation's armor, 0 damage will get through Periapt of Woe, and then 2 damage destroys the Pugilist, who will go underneath the Resurrection Ritual. Then the other Poisoner does 0, 0, and unfortunately, 1 to the person I don't want to hurt. So if the Poisoners keep on attacking the Relic Spirit, I might have to destroy them just to keep me safe from it bringing all the relics back.